here tonight. If you just missed the Hillsborough High School choral members, you missed the best part of the program. They were fantastic. It just goes downhill from here. Okay, we have established a quorum, and if I could get Dr. Nola Jones to lead us in the pledge tonight, that would be awesome.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. And so we'll go to 30 seconds in my district. Can we start with you, Ms. Bugs?
Sure. I would love to send a shout out to Miss Caitlin Quarles from Fall Hamilton. Not only is she one of my praise dancers at church, but she is also performing in the Nutcracker. You can see her this weekend. She performed in the Nutcracker last year as a baby mouse. She'll be performing in the Calvary scene. She's one of our amazing third graders. We also recently had a community engagement committee meeting. We had about 30 people to show up. About 6 organizations were present. We'll be scheduling another one after the new year, so please be looking out for that. My interns have completed their first semester. They are not here tonight. I've given them reprieve because they are completing their finals, but if you see them, continue to give them a pat on the back. STEAM night at both Stratford Middle School Stratford Lower Campus and Inglewood Elementary School were both very well attended on last week. I would say easily 100 families at both. So thank you, East Nashville, for supporting your schools. I also would love to say a special shout out to communities and schools. The Caldwell Elementary School has had an increase in its reading clinic participation, and we believe it's because of these joint efforts with our schools. Thank you.
Cheers.
I'll be speaking more about the Hillsborough holiday pop singers that were here earlier, but if you still have time to get to JT Moore by 5:30, their Holiday Strings and Band concert will be tonight from 5:30 to 8, and I'm hoping to catch a little bit of it after this meeting.
I would just like to say that our Dr. Adrian Battle-Koger has a new bouncing baby boy, and that's all I have for our district.
Ms. Berry.
Thank you. 150 volunteers signed up to participate in the Reading Clinic Holiday Brunch that occurred earlier, last week at Carter Lawrence. There were a lot of retired teachers and community people there, and they talked a lot about what a rewarding experience it is to work with our students. The volunteers were also able to select books and a workbook to wrap and give to the students for the holiday gift. So we appreciate the reading clinic, and I also have 30 seconds for Ms. Frogue. Last week, recording artist Khalid made a surprise visit to HG Middle Prep as part of his tour to support music education. The students were thrilled to see him. He's nominated for 5 Grammys, and he took time to visit the schools and sing with the students. A huge thank you to CMA and to Nola Jones for making this happen. Thank you.
Dr. Brannon?
Yes, kudos to the Oliver Middle School Drama Department on their very fine presentation of The Little Mermaid last weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we thank all of the band boosters who supported this effort.
Gotcha.
I just want to give a shout out to Dr. Deborah Smith at Jones Padilla Elementary School. She's instituted a program called, I don't know if call it a program, but an initiative, Girls, Pearls, and Guys in Ties. It's on every Tuesday. The girls wear a set of pearls that they've given to them, and the guys wear ties. 3rd and 4th graders to come and hear speakers throughout the community to talk to them about specific and different life skills. And so it's so neat. Today was Pajama Day because they have holiday dress down week, and my daughter came down in regular clothes with her pearls. She says, "Mom, pearls don't go with my pajamas," so she didn't wear her pajamas. And I also want to commend them. They held their first ever student elections for student council. Normally, they appoint students to the council. But this year, and then they select the officers, but this year they had full-blown elections with campaign speeches and posters and signage. The students went into the library to vote electronically. And so now they have their fourth grade student council and a full slate of officers. So congratulations to all those students who won, and a special thank you again to Deborah Smith and her entire staff that always roll up their sleeves and pitches in to do these exciting and different things that she wants to do for the students.
All right. We will move on to the awards and recognition, Our People section of our agenda tonight. Dr. Joseph?
Thank you, Ms. Shepard. May we call up Coach Woods, the coaching staff at Cane Ridge, Ms. Sanchez, and the Cane Ridge High School football team. A great team develops a bond of trust that is cultivated through the season by the coaching staff, team members, and the entire school community. When the pieces come together, the results are simply remarkable. Tonight, we honor such a team. After a thrilling run through the playoffs, the Cane Ridge Ravens finished the 2017 football season as the state's 6A runner-up. To Coach Woods, Ms. Sanchez, and the entire coaching staff and team, we're proud of the way you represented your families, your school, and your community. Once again, congratulations on a fantastic season. Ms. Sanchez and Coach, would you like to say a word before coming up for a picture?
Yes, we want to thank you for inviting us here tonight, and we do want to thank you that in order to get here, this is the largest classification. It's been since 1981 since MNPS has had a representative at the state championship game in the largest classification. I also have to brag. We're so often compared to the surrounding counties, and for us to get here, we first had to beat Centennial, then Brentwood, then Ravenwood, and then Whitehaven and Memphis. So it's a great story for MNPS. It's a great story for Cane Ridge High School, and we couldn't have done it with Coach Woods and, of course, without his staff and the football players. So thank you again for recognizing this accomplishment.
Thank you.
December, so this will be our last meeting of the year. And at that time, I would like to get the envelopes for both Kim and David, to give them their gifts. I'd like to do that publicly. Yes, I put it to you before I speak, please. If you would do that. Congratulations.
Well, and you know the women are naked.
They want to be tweeted out, so I got to go with my photos. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, guys.
Way to go, guys.
Yeah, that's what they're.
Congratulations.
Say what? Is you? Yeah, that was good thinking.
Okay.
and just move on, you know.
I told Coach I was going to say something because they know I'm the talk of the coaching staff. This year we went in and we knocked on the door. Next year we're going to kick it in.
That's right. And next we have the Hume Awards. The Hume Award is the most prestigious award of a high school football player that a high school player can win in Nashville. Presented every year since 1944. The Hume Award was started by William Hume, the chair of the Nashville City School Board, and Superintendent W.A. Bass, to honor sportsmanship, scholarship, and football ability. Dr. Narcisse presented the award at a luncheon last weekend, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Narcisse.
As Dr. Joseph said, the Hume Award is presented each year during a luncheon hosted by a local civic organization. We appreciate the Economic Club of Nashville for hosting this year's luncheon last week at Bridgestone Arena. Each Metro Nashville Public School submits a candidate chosen by the principal and football coach on the basis of scholarship, sportsmanship, individual performance, and value to the team. 5 finalists and their parents are invited to the luncheon. This year's finalists, if you are here, please step forward with your principal as I call your name. Jared McCrae, Cane Ridge High School. That's all right. James Murphy, Glencliff High School. Principal coming up. Jacob King, Overton High School. If you're here with your Jalen Granberry from Martin Luther King, member of the Pearl Cone football team. And the winner of the 74th Annual Hume Award is Brian Thompson, Jr. of East Nashville High School. Congratulations, gentlemen. We are proud of you, and congratulations to the parents, families, coaches, teachers, and everyone else who influenced these fine young men to do great things in their future. So I thought maybe okay for the winner himself might want to say anything. Anything you want to say, or you're good?
Please, his question's cool. Christian, where is she?
I just want to thank God for blessing me with some of this stuff, and I want to thank my family and my coaches because they helped me get here.
Okay. Well, I'll go for her.
But no. Hey, Mr. Bob, how you doing, Mr. Bob? That's okay. Here I come.
Okay, would Mr. Amato and Dr. Jones-Mason, would you please step forward? So over the past year and a half, Jared Amato and his students at Maplewood High School have transformed a classroom project into a national grassroots literacy movement. Project Lit Community is just that, a community consisting of hundreds of dedicated educators and students across the country who work together to increase book access and spread the love of reading. Project Lit Community has received more than $25,000 in grant funding and purchased thousands of great books for Nashville children. Mr. Amato was recently recognized as the Penguin Random House Teacher of the Year. We celebrate and honor Project Lit's commitment to connect readers of all ages and walks of life through the Project Lit Book Club, flooding our schools and communities with high-quality, culturally relevant books, and improving literacy attitudes and outcomes, one book and one conversation at a time. Mr. Amato, the school board and I appreciate your good work for the children of Nashville.
Thank you, guys. Really, we're in exam week, and the 5 students behind me could be studying, they could be working, and they gave up a lot of their afternoon to wrap books and deliver them to hundreds of kids at Chadwell Elementary School today. They've dedicated hundreds of hours over the past, since I've known Adrian since 8th grade. I've taught him for 4 years. The rest of them, two years now. They've changed my life, and they're changing this community with their effort every single day, inside the classroom, outside the classroom, not for awards or for praise, but because they're just amazing human beings who care about their community and their peers. And I'm grateful to be their teacher. I'm grateful to have the support of Dr. Mason and our staff at Maplewood, who trust us to do what we know is right for our kids. And I love what I do. And thank you guys again for honoring their work. And we'll keep doing it. So book clubs are keep coming every single month at Maplewood. You see them popping up everywhere with teachers who are like us and kids like us who know how valuable it is to have great books and to talk about them. So thank you, guys. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
That is not me.
That's a smorgasbord.
Let me be great, man. I'm so hungry. You can have whatever. These go.
I got a gold bar in my purse.
They know something you don't know?
She wants my gold bar. I'll fight you. You have to defend those to my husband. He's like, why are you paying $2?
Okay, Esther Wozo, would you please come forward? Along with, I believe your principal is here. You can come on up, Jill. Dr. Pittman. So some of the best and brightest students in the nation attend school here in MNPS. Tonight we have the honor to honor one of those students. Esther Wozo has been selected to represent Tennessee as a nominee for the National U.S. Presidential Scholars Program. Esther is a senior at Overton High School who plans to pursue a career as a physician. She recently earned the Cambridge ACE diploma with distinction and has an ACT score of a 33.
Wow.
She's completed extensive community service for a home health company, fulfillment tender care. Esther is the principal chair clarinist at Overton's Wind Ensemble and is also a Vanderbilt Blair School of Music pre-college scholarship recipient. She's earned a spot in the MTS BOA Mid-State Band Conference for 6 years and the TMEA All-State Band Conference for 3 years. Her many activities include Health Occupation Students of America. She's the president, Academy Ambassador, Student Council member, a Beta Club Vice President, Latino Achievers member, American Red Cross Secretary, and Youth Court member, just to name a few. Congratulations, Esther. We're so proud of your accomplishments, and we look forward to following your career. Would you like to say a word, Dr. Pittman, and then Esther?
Yeah, just to say annually, every American high school principal has an opportunity to nominate a student. These nominations then go to the chief state school officers who choose one girl and one boy from every state only.
Wow.
So in my research, I wasn't able to find any zoned high school students who were representing Tennessee. So I hope that Esther is the first among many who will come from Metro Nashville Public Schools.
That is amazing.
I get tired just listening to all the stuff she does. I'm tired just listening to everything she does.
She's so young. What's she gonna be like when she's older?
Thank you, Dr. Joseph. We will move on to, and the good news is, portion of our agenda, our students. And we have the student ambassadors from Antioch High School here tonight. Would they like to come forward, please?
Hello, my name is Diana Sun.
My name is Faris Ali.
To continue, I'd like to say it's unfortunate that our classmate Uriel Umatomi, she couldn't be here with us today because of a family emergency. So we're very sorry for that. But we know that she really regrets it. So, okay, and to continue, we'd first like to say thank you for the opportunity you're allowing us to share our story with you with our academies at Antioch High School. So thank you.
I'm a senior in the Academy, Tennessee Credit Union Academy of Business and Finance. I'm also in the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. I also work really closely with the Automotive Engineering Technology Academy. I'm a captain of the robotics team. We've this past year we placed second in VEX State. We were finalists, and we also placed in state consistently for the past 3 years. Part of being a student at Antioch this year has brought on a lot of change. We've gotten a lot of new programs such as Model United Nations and Youth in Government, and we sort of revamped our student government whole situation. Before it was just simply a leadership team, but this year it included an executive board for which I'm a part of. I'm the clubs and communications director, and also a lot of this year, instead of just simply class voting, we opened the voting up to the whole school to make sure that every single person's voice was heard. So as a student at Antioch, I think that is the best school in Metro. I had the chance to go to Hume Fogg for my junior year, but I decided to stay in Antioch, not simply for the people and the teachers who show you that they care about you, but for the programs and the change that what I knew, the potential that Antioch has.
Thank you.
And hi, my name is Diana Sun. I'm a part of the Teaching and Service Academy at Antioch High School.
You're hired.
Yeah.
Say that again in 10 years. Remember that. Okay. And Ferris covered the social student body about Antioch, and I will cover the academies. So within my academy, teaching and service, I'm a part of the Pathway Social Services, which means we spend a lot of our time understanding humans. So as a sophomore, I started the class Intro to Human Studies, and there we learned about all the theorists and the different theories that comes along with how humans act, how humans interact, and how humans grow and develop. And then later on, the following year, my junior year, we applied all those theories to see how they worked in action with lifespan development. And now I'm in family studies. So what I am most grateful for with my academy is the opportunity to serve my community. So within my academy, we had a club called FCCLA, which stands for Family Career Community Leaders of America. And within that club, we spent a lot of time serving our community with different businesses such as the Nashville Zoo and the homeless shelter downtown. And with that, it sparked the interest for me to go out and form and continue on the community service. So now I work really closely with the Bethany Health and Rehabilitation Center, and it's right off of Nolensville Pike. And there I spend over 80 hours just working with the elderly, communicating with them, learning from them, and helping them in any way I can. And for all that, I'd like to thank my academy, my teachers, my mentors, and everyone at Antioch who has helped inspire me and help me grow as a person.
Great job. Thank you.
Ferris, I just want to brag on you once. What is your ACT score?
31.
Woo!
33.
Oh, we're not competing or anything, are we? We'll move on to the Hillsborough High School musical performance. Ms. Pierce.
Yes, earlier tonight, Ms. Janelle Gantz, who's the director of vocal music at Hillsborough High School, brought us the Hillsborough Pops Choir to do some holiday music, and I think we all agree it was a wonderful opening to our night and one that we could go back and listen to over and over again. Under Ms. Gantz, the vocal music program at Hillsborough has doubled in size over the last 3 years and continues to grow. Currently, there are 4 vocal ensembles, mixed choir for grades 9 through 12, and the women's choir, which is smaller, and a more intimate ensemble for girls in grades 10 through 12 that focuses on jazz harmonies as well as classical choral literature. The Pops and Chamber choirs are the advanced ensembles, and membership is based on audition. The Chamber Choir studies and performs classic choral repertoires and will participate in the MTVA Choral Music Festival in February of 2018. But tonight it was a Hillsborough Pops Choir, and I just thank you again for coming out. I know you have exams this week, so appreciate the time you gave us tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Pierce. And we'll move on to the Oliver Middle School art display. Dr. Brandon.
Thank you. Tonight's art display, Walking in a Wonderland, comes from Oliver Middle School. The art students created these peaceful winter scenes using a variety of media, including salted watercolor, hand-painted papers, and pastels. A little bit of holiday sparkle was also added to the trees using sequins. Ms. Carrie Bryant is the amazing art specialist at Oliver. Although she is highly qualified to teach K through 12, Ms. Bryant prefers to teach in the middle. She believes that middle school students are willing and eager to learn, to try new ideas, and to explore materials.
Thank you, Dr. Brandon. We'll move on to the public participation portion of our meeting, our community. The board will hear from those persons who have requested to appear at this board meeting. In the interest of time, the speakers are requested to limit remarks to 3 minutes or less, and comments will be timed. We have one person who has signed up, and that is Ms. Jordan Sims.
Good evening, I'm Jordan Sims, and I teach English 2 and International Baccalaureate Literature at Hunters Lane. Tonight, I want to talk about the return on investment of the International Baccalaureate program here in Nashville. Tonight, I speak on behalf of the nearly 400 IB students we have, and I want to talk about the opportunities that this investment provides for them. I'm sure that you guys have all heard of the IB diploma, and while we would love for all of our students to earn this diploma, it's not the only measure of success for the IB program or us as teachers. The value of this program is exponential, even without the diploma. Just to explain, IB is an equitable program, meaning any student of any gender, race, education, or socioeconomic status is welcome to join this program. Our doors are always open for students who are seeking a rigorous learning opportunity. Full diploma students take 6 IB classes, including one class where they write a 5,000-word research essay. But students can also choose to take a single IB class. But overall, students have the opportunity to earn college credit in 6 different courses. Even if they don't get the full diploma, they can still get college credit in multiple classes. The diploma is just an award for students who earn college credit in all 6 of those courses. The measure of success and the thing that we get excited for is the college credit. Between the 3 IB schools in our district, a total of 413 tests were passed. That is 413 achievements of college credit. These are the numbers that matter most to us. The 48% of my students who earned college credit in English last year. The 46% of Hunters Lane students that earned art credit last year for college. And the 56% of students who earned college credit in a foreign language. This is the return on investment for our students. Also, according to the IB, low-income diploma candidates, not even diploma earners, diploma candidates, are 25% more likely to stay in college and graduate college than students who are not involved in the program. This is the return for our students. Students like Lucas, who emailed me the day the scores came out and said, Ms. Sims, I didn't get the full diploma, but I got a 4 in English. I passed English. Thank you so much for pushing me. This is why we push our students. We not only save them money, but we prepare them for the college experience. Finally, IB also requires community activity and service hours, better known as CAS hours. So our students have the opportunities to get involved locally, nationally, and globally. Our students regularly volunteer at Second Harvest Food Bank here in Nashville, and we've also had students travel to Honduras with the nonprofit Souls for Souls, where they devoted their time and resources to helping low-income and less fortunate families in Honduras. I think that these students and the IB program overall reminds me to be more compassionate and humanitarian. So I hope that you consider these opportunities for our students as they are endless in the IB program. I encourage all of you to come to my class, any of our classes, and our door's always open. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sims. We'll move on to the governance issues, our organization, and with the consent agenda, Ms. Spearing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Consent agenda 1A, recommended approval of request number 3 for Overton High School additions and renovations, Beaver Engineering, Inc. B, recommended approval of request number 26 for purchase of furniture at New Eagle View Elementary School, GBI. C, awarding of purchases and contracts. 1, quavermusic.com. 2, Tennessee Department of Children's Services. D, legal settlement claim, C-35376 for $12,000, and E, board policies for school board operations. Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
Can I get a second? Okay. Let's go ahead and use our iPads to vote. The consent agenda was passed by a unanimous vote. Thank you. Moving on to reports or organization, Dr. Joseph.
Thank you. We know that a college education transforms children's lives, and we want to provide students with more opportunities to pursue advanced academics and accelerate their path through higher education towards college degrees and industry certifications here in MNPS. With that in mind, in partnership with Nashville State Community College, we are expanding our middle college dual credit program to an early college model that will provide students with 4 years of high school on a college campus. Our goal is for every student who participates in the program to earn an associate's degree by the end of their 4-year high school experience. Beginning in the 2018-2019 school year, we will expand the program at Nashville State's main campus on Whitesbridge Road with plans to add a campus in Antioch in the following year. And at this time, I'd like Dr. Narcisse to come up, and he will introduce the principal of our new early college, along with our friends from Nashville State who have come here today to talk about this exciting opportunity for children.
Good evening. We're really excited about what we're about to embark on. So I wanted to make sure we were able to invite all of the people involved that are here today. So although he's not here today, we do want to recognize Dr. George Van Allen, who's the president of Nashville State Community College. He's not here with us, but we have here with us Dr. Kim McCormick, the Vice Chancellor of External Affairs for Tennessee Board of Regents, if you can come up when I call your name. Also, we have Dr. Robert Den, the Associate Vice Chancellor of K-12 Initiatives for the Tennessee Board of Regents. And we also have Dr. William Terry Brown, Vice President for Academic Affairs and Student Services for the Nashville State Community College. And more importantly, we have the principal, Mr. Roderick Manuel, the executive principal for Middle College, who's also here. I'd like for him to come up because it's going to take a partnership for us to do this work, and we wanted to give them an opportunity just to talk a little bit about the work. So, Dr. Brown.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. When I walked in, I thought that the crowd was to hear about this marvelous new expansion. But short of that, I have seen what our students are capable of, and the future for the college and for this city is very, very bright indeed. We are long time partners. Most of our students, the majority of our students, come from the Nashville Public Schools, and this partnership in particular, the Middle College, stretches back some 20 years. We've been doing this for a long time. And given the growth of the city, the vitality of our area, there is an increased need. We've seen it in the Drive to 55, the governor's initiative, as well as from employers, that we need an educated workforce in order for Nashville to maintain its leadership in the region and in the country. We have companies that are coming every day. The population is growing every day, and we all have to do our part. We all have to step up to make sure that we have the workforce and the education needed for that so that we can continue to grow. And so, as Dr. Narcisse mentioned, President Van Allen, this has been on his radar for a long time. He is tremendously enthusiastic, as are we all. With his retirement, Dr. McCormick is going to be our interim president, Dr. Den from TBR, and these two in particular are like the A-team for middle college and early college in the state, with long experience in doing this kind of thing from Chattanooga State. But they came to the right side. And so we have the team in place, we have the support in place, we are moving forward in terms of how this is actually going to work and how this is actually going to look. And we are tremendously excited to serve. In the last 7 years, we've had almost 1,000 students participate in the middle college. We are looking at many thousands more over the next several years, with hundreds and thousands of degrees coming up over the next several years with regards to awards of associate degrees, full associate degrees that transfer practically anywhere in the programs we've identified. So with that, I will turn it back over.
Hi, I just want to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to expand middle college and giving us the opportunity to bring in ninth graders and stretch them academically. We're looking forward to this and really excited about this opportunity. Thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead and now just present to you the early college model. So we'll begin. You guys can pull up on the PowerPoint here. And You guys don't have to keep standing unless you just feel like them.
While they're doing that, I just want to say that it's a great opportunity to really collaborate with Nashville State. Again, we've had the relationship for years, but having a 9 through 12 program, and more importantly, expecting that students that are in the program actually get the associate's degree, in our opinion, is a life-changing opportunity. And Nashville State has proven to be a tremendous partner, first under Dr. Van Allen and working with Dr. McCormick. The commitment from them is exceptional, and I think we should continue to work to expand and exploit that relationship to ensure, that we have thousands of children graduating with that associate's degree. Because as we're thinking about, our kids' college or career ready, we know them walking away from high school with an associate's degree answers that question emphatically, yes, that they are career ready, and they're also college ready, and they've demonstrated that. So we want to be the model not only for the state but the nation in terms of creating those opportunities with this first step. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Narcisse to further clarify what it means to be in early college.
So one thing we're really excited about is the folks that you just saw, Dr. Brown, Dr. McCormick, they have experience doing this. So it makes our lives a lot easier than starting from scratch. We've had meetings with them already. So I'm going to walk you through the early college model and also the benefits around what you'll see that our students will receive. So one of the big things that to just kind of set the tone a little bit for you is on the National Assessment of Educational Progress, which is the assessment that's taken across the country, only 40% of 12th graders score at college and career ready levels. You probably heard a lot about this when you hear college and career ready and making sure that kids graduate with degrees that are really strong to go into the next level. Well, out of the nearly 4 out of 10 of those who enroll in occupational certificate programs are ready for that program, and then 6 out of 10, which is about 58% of those enrolling in occupational associate's degree programs, fail to earn a credential of any type within 6 years of schooling. So what you're going to see as we've been working to move this project forward is at the end of when a child finishes at this particular school, they will not only have a high school degree, but also an associate's degree. If you get anything else that I tell you today, that's the main premise, all right? And so this is how the model looks different. Right now in the middle college, this is what we currently have. If you look on your right-hand side, we have a grades 10 to 12 model, no requirement for a number of college credits, average 3 to 7 associate's degree per year is what you see the credits that children can get. What you're seeing in the early college models will expand to grades 9 through 12, and students will be required to complete 60 college credits to receive their associate's degree. And so as you'll see in the model, our goal is to have the school to be 400 students maximum with 100 students per grade level. You'll also see that when students graduating with an associate's degree, with their associate's degree, they will then be able to transfer into a 4-year university. And one of the things that we spoke about with the Nashville State Community College was about the type of associate's degree. There's an associate's degree and there's also an applied associate's degree. Our students will be getting the associate's degree, which means that those credits will be able to transfer anywhere they plan to go. And there's a difference between those two pieces. The way we see the benefits for the learning is there will be no out-of-pocket costs. So imagine if you are a parent that your child finishes an associate's degree, that means you have 2 years out of your 4 years already completed if you attend this particular high school. And there's also a huge cost savings. As we know, college tuition is rising at an alarming rate. I just saw that look, Ms. Buggs. And, so folks who tend to go here will have an advantage to that piece. And also, as you see, we talked about 60 transferable credits. One of the things I don't want to underestimate as Dr. Joseph moves it forward is that it is a partnership between us and Nashville State Community College. So there will be particular people assigned specifically to work through these pieces as we go through all of our processes, not only to make sure that the school is successful, but for every stage for students to be successful in. What will early college high school look like in MNPS? I told you already, our goal is to transition our middle college that we have here in the upcoming academic year, turn that to a 9-12, and then the following year we will open up an additional school on another campus that you will see there, which will have us have 2 early college schools in our program.
But to be specific, we want to have the second campus in Antioch.
Yes.
The reason in Antioch is we know there's lots of over-enrollment in those schools in that area. We ideally talked about actually starting it next year, but the university did not own the land there, so it would have been too difficult to try to open it for the upcoming year. Now, we talked about the possibility of, would we have the students start at the Donaldson campus and then move them to Antioch the following year? But we thought because it's a new program, let's just wait until we have the property and do it there. But it will address some of the demand for programming and overcrowdedness in that part of the district as well.
We wanted to just give you a list of all of the committee members that are a part of putting this project together. If you notice, it's a collaboration, not just MNPS, from the mayor's office, Nashville State, and other partners that are a part of that work. So we wanted you to see that extensiveness. And then also we talked about the proposed curriculum. The way that a curriculum would look is first-year students will take a majority of high school courses. 10th grade, they'll be exposed to high school and some college. And in their third year, they will be 50% of their courses will be with college, and their fourth year will be all college courses. And so the goal is to make sure that they are able to begin to engage in college life. And so our goal is to make sure we transition them accordingly. One of the main things we really wanted to make sure that the board understood was for the particular type of school that we are setting up, we want to make sure kids are successful. We will have an admission criteria for that. You'll see up on there there'll be an application process, essays. We'll look at MAP-R, MAP-M assessments. We'll look at their TN Ready assessments. There'll be a letter of recommendation, which is optional, but there'll be a committee that will look at that. And then the process will also be a part of our MNPS school choice process. One of the conversations we had with Nashville State Community College was to make sure that they are a part of the process in the interviewing process as well, to make sure they are able to interview so we can look at students' aptitudes for being successful. And even though students will have those particular criterias and also go through an application process working with the principal and their teams and panels, it's important for us, you see the selection process there, it's important for us for them to be successful. So now once you choose the students in there, our goal is to make sure that particular cohort goes all the way through. Some of the things that we've been taking into consideration specifically for families and students have been around things such as location, what the pathway would be around pathway of courses that they would take, which has been a conversation between Nashville State and ourselves around the course sequencing. Transportation, looking at how we're going to make sure transportation happens, so students who may apply wherever they are located across the city to figure out if we're going to do it by hubs, and those pieces are some of the logistics we're still working on. And then extracurricular activities, which it's important that we want to make sure that they do extracurricular activities in collaboration on the campus so we can start transitioning them into becoming college students. So those are conversations we've been having around detailed pieces of that. If you look at how we're thinking about student support, our goal is to make sure that every one of the students that attend the early college model has a mentor. They'll have college and career coaches to help them with transition, tutoring, school counselors, and also working with staff between the Nashville State Community College and our staff to make sure that we're providing enough support so kids can transition not only academically but social-emotionally. One of the last things we have is how we're going to communicate. We've been already having conversations with Nashville State and our other partners around how we're going to communicate across. So we have communication departments that we're talking about marketing materials, selection process, how to make sure families have different access in terms of languages, and all of the additional pieces that we usually do for a school choice process, but making sure that we can get that information across the city. And then also have Q&A sessions specifically for parents where there's focus groups and those pieces. So we are been talking about those components. Our next steps from here is that the advisory committee will develop systems and structures. As you saw the list of the advisory committee folks. We also will be partnering with the TDOE for a new school application process to make sure that we are, as we're working with TDOE, we already have some preliminary conversations just because we're moving our model from 10 to 12 to 9 to 12. And then we'll execute on our marketing plan and then begin our finalization on the budget. And as we're doing those pieces, we'll have specific folks dedicated to these particular schools as we're developing. Any questions?
I have a few, if you don't mind, Madam Chair. What is the cost for MNPS? Because, you know, they'll be getting a degree, so are we tapping into Tennessee Promise money, or just what does that look like?
Yes, so Dr. Brown come up.
And while he's coming up, are we targeting specific types of students? I mean, what ideally would a early college student be or look like?
Yeah. So what we're actually talking through right now around the admissions criteria for that, because we want to make sure we have a diverse and robust students to have opportunity. We're also looking at academically how they can make sure they're successful. So,
but we were clear a couple things. One, the admissions criteria needs to be the same as the Hume-Fogg MLK type of criteria. I mean, we want students that are, I mean, they're going to be taking calculus by 12th grade. So we need students who are, we feel, are prepared to go into a rigorous program. But the selection process is going to be important, and the interview process is going to be important because there are trade-offs. Because they'll be on a college campus, they won't be participating in athletics, for example. So if there's somebody who wants to participate in athletics, this wouldn't be the program, for them as we go forth. But the cost, I think, Doc can speak to that. Nashville State has been a tremendous partner with us. Historically, what they've done in the program is we have paid rent. But they've turned that rent back into scholarships to reduce costs for us as they've gone on. But how the Doc's going to speak more to the specifics of that.
The students would not have access to Tennessee Promise, as that requires the high school diploma before you could. However, there are two other sources of funding. Can't be used at the same time, but Hope dollars and lottery dollars. So we would be able to leverage that funding for students in the dual enrollment. And then, we already have the arrangement with our current middle college that we've been able to leverage. And so the commitment to there being no out-of-pocket costs. I'm not talking about stuff you might get in the bookstore. Everyone needs a Nashville State sweatshirt. That's on them. But the out-of-pocket costs with regards to tuition and books and all of those things, we are working all of that out, but we want it to be as accessible as possible, and so making sure that is a key component of our program. Very much the same as our current program.
Okay, so ideally, it wouldn't really cost us anything more to add not only another grade, but to add another campus. I mean, the cost per student will be the same, but... Yeah,
so right now, when students come, and this is particularly true of the main campus, they are largely moving into courses that we already have. And so the faculty are there, the courses are being offered. If we're getting hundreds more students, we would be adding courses anyway, and so on. There is the way this program would be laid out, because they would be on our campus, but they would be taking mostly the high school courses there. So then the district would need to provide the faculty to make sure that they're getting that kind of experience before they transfer into the college experience. So there would be, again, I don't know your staffing patterns, but that would be what the district would provide, and then we would pick it up from there.
We'll make sure, what I can do is, as an action, we'll get you the actual cost of the current middle college and what we spend there, so you'll be able to see those dollars in specific numbers. we can provide that to you.
You don't have to do any extra work. I was just making sure
No,
that
it's
there was
easy,
not a
but it's good to
big,
see.
another chunk of funding that we need to vote on. And then you spoke to, thank you for that, and you spoke to extracurriculars and sports teams. So I know at the magnet schools, those students can play football because they don't have a football team. They can play football with another area school. Would that be available to these students, or athletics would be completely off the table just as a marker?
From my understanding, athletics would be off the table because they're college students. They may take courses during the time that the athletics teams would be participating.
TSSAA, okay.
But they can participate in the on-campus college clubs that exist on the campus, and we'll have to be thoughtful about how do we create opportunities, particularly for ninth graders, to have some meaningful opportunities for them to engage.
I would add to that, when we talk about them being our students, they have access to all of the services and the opportunities on the campus, just like any of our other students would. So not only student life, but we're talking about advising, we're talking about tutoring, we're talking about all of the library resources, and so on. And so, for this to work, again, we will have to make some considerations given that some will be ninth graders and 14-year-olds and that kind of thing. But the intention is for them to truly experience the college experience so that when they do leave us with their degree, and in some cases certificate as well, that they have the maturity, they have the experience to really function when they go on to the university or when they go on to employment, whatever it is that their path takes them.
And then with the fourth year expectation being that there are nothing but college courses being taken, I'm going to assume that the typical school day won't be the same for every student. So a student might not start class until noon and then go until 8 p.m. I mean, is that just for the fourth years, or could that be open as soon as they start taking college classes? They register for whatever time they want to go.
So technically that's possible, but this is where advising really comes in. Some of the conversation that we have to have with all of our students is what's going on in your life. So our students have families, they have jobs, they're doing all kinds of things. And so in some cases there may not be a choice if they need this class and it's only offered once during this semester at this time, would have to work around that. But that would be part of the conversations as we are talking to students and getting them engaged in registering for next semester's classes, their career plan, all of those kinds of things. I don't know about y'all, but my workday does not begin at noon. And that's part of the conversation that we would be having with students as they progress in their programs.
Thank you.
Dr. Brandon?
Yes, I just wondered if there is a proposed site already in mind, or is that still under?
So on the year coming up, fall of 18, would be on the main campus. It would be an expansion of our current middle college to a full early college going 9 through 12. The year after, at our southeast campus is where that is planned to happen.
Is it apart from the campus in Antioch, or is it within the campus?
It's in the same building, but we have space, and that's part of the reason that we wanted to take some time and make sure we did that part right, is that construction would have to occur, and we have to deal with both of our systems and making that happen.
Ms. Pierce?
Thank you. So prior to the proposed admission standards, has it simply operated as open enrollment?
No. Samaria, can you talk more about that? It is a selective process, and again, a lot of the considerations, making sure that students would be successful there, but I'll let you go into detail about that.
In the current enrollment process, students have to have at least a 2.75 GPA, and there's an application process that comes to myself as well as my secretary, and we schedule interviews with parents after school between the hours of 3 and 4:30. With our current models, students have to have successfully completed Integrated Math 1 and English 1.
Okay, and so For the proposed admission standards, is this something that we vote on, or is this something that you're, this administrative?
It's administrative typically.
Okay, and then do you all also, can students be admitted at any grade? Like, is this something that if you're a 10th grader and you decide I want to try this my junior year, the application is open annually?
Well, currently, with the current model, that's true. But with seniors, we have to be really careful about that as far as kids transferring from a zone high school to the middle college.
And now, if we're talking about the difference now would be, before there was no expectation that they get the associate's degree. So now if they don't come in on time, it's impossible for them to complete that program. So unless they came in from, if they were moving from Chattanooga here and they were in the program at Chattanooga, then that's an easy transfer. And our policies communicate that if, we give preference to students that are coming from another district in a similar type of program. But it'll lock those 100 students in, so we'll be thoughtful about, would recommend we oversample a bit, because you're going to expect some attrition over for a 4-year period, just the nature of how things work out. But the goal is to put out at least 100 associate's degrees a year.
So would they need to be exempt from Annenberg?
Say that once again.
Would they need to be exempt from Annenberg as far as exits, or if they're not making the grades?
Yeah, we'd have to discuss that. I mean, if we have Annenberg as a policy, we would have to follow the Annenberg policy that's in place unless the board changed that.
And one more question, because this is exciting. This sounds like another great opportunity for a certain niche of the population. What is your capacity? Like, it sounds like the current enrollment's around 100. You may have said this and I missed it. What do you envision it growing to?
So this would be a maximum of 400 students, 400 students per grade level.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Dr. Branham?
I'd just like to find out how many students you have presently at.
Currently, it's 98. We started with 120 kids at the beginning of the year.
I remember Dr. Gentry and I and Mrs. Frog and I have visited the early college, and we've had those conversations about, when you think about capacity, here's an opportunity where there could be much more capacity for such a great program and a great opportunity.
Well, you've done a fine job over there throughout the years that you've been there, so we appreciate your work.
Dr. Gentry?
So I'm just curious, because I think one of the conversations Dr. Joseph and I may have had after that visit was around the best institution in the whole wide world, Xavier University of Louisiana, located at 1 Drexel Drive, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70131. Which you also may or may not be aware of is #1 for putting African Americans into med school. And that doesn't happen by accident. It is truly by design, a process that has been perfected over years. And so I would be interested, not tonight, to hear, whether it's me coming to your office, what tools and processes will be put in place to ensure that 100 students who come in the door end up being 100 students who have been there long enough to enroll in college classes, and who are 100 students who then complete those courses and receive the associate's degree. So just at some point, whenever you're ready, I'd like to understand what those tools and processes look like, what's going to be the expectation and education of the instructors, both at the high school level and the college level, et cetera, et cetera.
What I will say at this point is that our commitment to our students succeeding is unwavering. And with regards to developing the faculty, and in a way we have the benefit of having been doing this for a long time, so our faculty are very accustomed to having high school students and middle college students there. But at the same time, just like we had Tennessee Promise students come in a couple of years ago, and there was a lot of preparation across the system and across the campus for that. We have Tennessee Reconnect students that are coming in. We have every before every semester, we have a campus-wide in-service where we are taking on the things that we know are coming upon us. And so this spring, for example, we're talking all about adult learners and what we need to do for Tennessee Reconnect. That same kind of programming, that same kind of faculty development is what we are prepared to do to make sure that we are ready to receive these ninth graders in this case, but as I said, we've been doing this for a while. And so we have our eyes wide open as to what we are attempting to do and what we're going to do, and we'll be ready.
I have a question. I've been fortunate enough to attend your graduation for several years now, and I love the way that you have the students stand in relation to the number of college credit hours that they have. And so having said that, it's the exception rather than the rule that we have students that actually earn an associate's degree. So will the expectation for this, when they start as a freshman, the expectation will be that in 4 years, you will graduate with a dual diploma with both the high school and associates. Is that going to be that expectation?
Yes.
And so they, as you just said, eyes wide open, they will know that going in, that this is the expectation. Okay, that's great. That's good. Anybody else have any questions? Well, that was great. Great news. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to add, Dr. McCormick and I have also been talking about the fact that, we have all of our academies, and our academies are, aligned to lots of industry certifications. So we'll be speaking on Friday talking about how we can, connect our academies to our technical colleges as well. Because if there are opportunities to dramatically increase the dual enrollment opportunities, and again, expect that if you're going down a pathway for a CTE, that you do take the college credits with our technical colleges. There's an opportunity to strengthen the rigor and also strengthen and answer the question, are our kids college and career ready? Well, if they're in these technical programs and getting the technical college credits, then we can emphatically answer yes. But it's an expectation piece that we must expand in the district as we move forward. And we're beginning with our early college this year.
That's awesome. Great news. We'll move on to committee reports, and we'll start with governance with Ms. Hunter.
Thank you. The Governors Committee met today and discussed the status of Smithson Craighead Academy. At our last board meeting, the board deferred action relative to the renewal of the school's charter agreement. Discussion at today's committee meeting focused on the various options the board has relative to the renewal. In short, the board may choose to renew the charter as it is presently constructed, renew the charter with additional performance measures, or not renew the agreement. The board will continue to work with the administration to determine the best path forward, and will take action in our meeting on January 23rd.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter. We'll go on to Director of Evaluation, Dr. Gentry.
Thank you. So we actually finished, I guess we have to change this now to evaluation. So one of the things we talked about was changing the committee from director evaluation to just an evaluation committee, since we'll be doing a board self-evaluation as well as in the future taking a look at our policy to incorporate the board evaluation along with the frequency with which that has happened. But to this date, we've completed a pass at the board self-evaluation that the Croft and Joftis entity helped us to create. We had a preview of those results in the evaluation committee, and we will talk through next steps, being to take a look at some of those extreme responses, either extremely disagree and extremely agree. How do we capitalize on those things that we agree that we're doing well, and what do we need to do to address the things that we believe we're not doing well, because either we're not doing them at all, and should we be, and if we should be, what are the things that we need to change as a board to begin to improve in that space. And so look forward to another meeting to talk about how we move forward, and then leverage the time we're going to be spending in future retreats to address those opportunities.
Thank you. Community engagement, Ms. Bugs.
Yes, the Community Engagement Committee met for the first time Thursday, November 30th. We had approximately 30 people in attendance, and roughly 7 organizations were represented. We discussed issues and how we're going to move forward with the committee. how we plan to utilize our community better, how we plan to leverage those partnerships, and then we made specific asks of those organizations, specifically talking about resources, donating time, talent, and treasure to our schools. We also had a segment where we received shout-outs from our community members as it relates to our schools and our students, and we had approximately 17 different shout-outs, just from anything from this teacher at Cane Ridge is doing well to this athletic program is progressing well. I mean, it was just really a good time was had. I would encourage as many community members as possible to attend our next meeting. That'll be announced after the first of the year.
Thank you. I do have a short board chair report tonight. As you may know, the board is continuing the process of updating, revising, and adopting new board policies. Tonight, we adopted policies regarding board operations. The adoption came after a line-by-line review process by both the board and the staff, and after a period of public comment. Now we will begin the process of adopting policies that impact the operation of the school district. The next section of policies deals with finances. The model policies have been reviewed by key district staff with revisions made to reflect the district's business practices. Now it's time for a 2-week period of public comment. The proposed policies can be found at the MNPS org website, Policy Review. The website is now live and will stay open for 2 weeks. The public comment period will close at noon on December the 26th. Following the comment period, the board will have the chance to review any changes prior to the final adoption in January. Also, historically, during the months of July and December, the MNPS Board of Education has only the first meeting of the month, and this December will not be any different. I hope that my colleagues and their families, all MNPS students and their families, and staff and their families, and our viewing audience have peaceful and safe holidays. Also, my colleague Jill right now is handing a small show of our appreciation to Dr. Severe and Cameo Bobo for their tireless work with the board, and we can be difficult at times. So we will see you again on Tuesday, January the 9th, and Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you. We will start with announcements. Dr. Gentry, Dr. Branham, Ms. Baring.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Sue Kessler at Hunters Lane was featured in this month's Ed Leadership Journal. In the article, Dr. Kessler talked about how she supports mental health at Hunters Lane. 8 years ago at Hunters Lane, they began to offer free materials at the bookstore, which reduces stress for students. Pencils, papers, index cards, spiral notebooks, jump drives, colored pencils, composition books, highlighters, markers, and poster board are all free to students. Congratulations on this important strategy, Sue Kessler, that was highlighted in Ed Leadership this month. The community engagement manager is Lisa Pierce from the Election Commission, and she will be visiting high schools during the month of January to sign up 18-year-olds to vote. Students need to know their Social Security number, and they need to know their place of birth. So as parents are listening to this, be sure that your students know that information so that they can be prepared to complete the forms. Maplewood Monday was earlier this week, or last week. Students presented information about the clubs that they belong to, and also talked about how they support each other with their social emotional needs. They're also, the community organizations are adopting families to support for Christmas, and they're also collecting food supplies for the holidays. You are all invited to attend Maplewood on January the 11th as we cut the ribbon for the new Energy and Power Outdoor Training Center. I want to just take a few minutes to talk about my recent trip to Houston on November the 16th with 5 other administrators from Metro Schools. In Houston, they have 3 programs. Literacy by 3, which is an elementary program, began in 2012. Literacy in the Middle, which only began in 2016, and Literacy Empowered, which is a high school program which began this year in 2017. They curtailed their money that they were using to test kids and took that money and bought books. They bought leveled readers, electronic books, and other books for the classroom libraries. All teacher training was differentiated to literacy, knowledge, and skills, and they had that in 4 areas: a novice, an apprentice, a practitioner, and an expert. Houston first worked with teachers and principals to identify their beliefs about literacy, and their beliefs inform their practice, and their practice helps determine the resources which impact results. Their beliefs are: time to read and write far exceed time for activities about reading and writing and other stuff. Students need a rich supply of books they can actually read and want to read. Literacy skills and strategies must be explicitly taught and demonstrated. Purposeful student talk is critical. Lots of it, teacher to teacher, student to student, conversational as opposed to interrogational. And I think Jared Amato demonstrates that in his work with students at Maplewood. Choice is essential, not just for reading books, but for all tasks as well. And an expert teacher is by far the most important ingredient. Without him or her, robust instruction wouldn't happen. During classroom visits, we observed students reading in every classroom. We saw partner reading, read-alouds at the middle school with complex text, small group instruction with balanced reading, lots of writing, and lots of listening to literature and responding to reading. Not activities about reading, but actual purposeful reading and writing. All students were engaged. We work with Cindy Peryear from Houston's central office, who led the initiative. She explained that they do not even use a phonics program or a workbook because they believe phonics should be taught in context of actual reading and purposeful writing. She said it's imperative that administrators believe in teachers' capacity. She said to say we don't have the capacity is insulting to teachers. They believe in central office leadership to build capacity, and they work from the bottom up for teacher buy-in. The middle school scores rose 6% the first year. All teachers teach reading in their own content area. Rather than administering the district-chosen test, they administer short snapshot tests given at the end of each quarter. An exception to this is the universal screener. They offer early dismissal for teachers in the afternoon. We learned a great deal from our visit to Houston and are excited to be back in Nashville to build our capacity and hopefully emulate the powerful structures and learning opportunities we observed in Houston. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, Antioch Middle School's new AVID program completed their first college tour at Tennessee State University, where they had the opportunity to ask many questions and dine on a college campus. Apollo Middle School hosted their Equal Educational Opportunity Group for BMI executive Rick Rodriguez. John F. Kennedy Middle School had their Donuts with Dads, where they hosted at least 25 fathers, and they have a wonderful writing marathon that's still ongoing. A.Z. Kelly hosted their All-Pro Dads meeting last weekend, where fathers came in and walked their kids to class and had lunch with them. Cane Ridge Elementary School hosted their Data Dig Night on November 30th, where parents came in and teachers worked with them to help them set goals with their kids and teach them how to work with them at home. And Maxwell Elementary School hosted 200 grandparents, and Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity came in and provided lunch for teachers.
Thank you. Ms. Pierce.
On a little more somber note, I do want to say thank you, Dr. Narcisse and Dr. Schuler-Pelham at Hillsborough and Amy Kate for the support they gave the community and the students after the tragic death of Jadante Jamal Hancock Thompson Jr., who was killed last Wednesday, December 6th, in the violent home invasion. He was new to Hillsborough. He'd been over at East and has a lot of connections throughout the district, and so it was just it's a very heavy time, and we just thank you for the support that you're offering our community. And also, there is a GoFundMe account that has been set up to support this family, and you can find the link on my Facebook page at Pierce for Schools. And our hearts go out to this family as they try to come to grips with this senseless death, especially during the holidays.
Thank you, Ms. Bugs. I have one very short announcement. We have 2 graduations tomorrow for our Simon Youth Schools. We have the Academy at Opry Mills graduating at 9 a.m. at Opry Mills Mall, and we have the Academy at Hickory Hollow graduating at noon at the Global Mall. So I encourage you to attend. These are always tearjerker graduations because they always have students giving their witness stories, and they have overcome some awful odds. So with that being said, Ms. Bugs?
If there no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.